Eddie the magic monk. Eddie the magic monk. Eddie the magic monk. Eddie the magic monk.
Hey guys, it's Eddie the Magic Monk. Welcome to part 2 of our Create Folders in Excel lesson. Last lesson we taught you how to create folders one by one in Excel. So for example, if I put in here Sam and I click create folder, it will create Sam in this folder. Okay, if you haven't got that working, please have a look at our previous tutorial. So in this second part, what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to look down this column, and let's say I have multiple names, Sam, Emma, John, Grace. These are just names out of a hat. David. I want to be able to click create folder and it'll create all of these folders for me. Okay, all the way down until the names are finished. So until we hit a blank cell, then it'll stop. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, let's firstly open up the code, developer, Visual Basic. So here's the code that we have right now. There's not much there. One single line. That's why it only creates one line. Okay, so what we want is, because we are repeating the instruction over and over again, we're going to create a loop. Okay, and a loop always has a variable. Okay, so the variable, we're just going to call it I. So I'm going to create a variable called I, and that is the code for creating a variable, and I'm going to make it an integer, which means the variable I, or the word or the letter I, can only contain a number that is a whole number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can't have anything with a decimal point. Okay, so I have an integer called I, and then I'm going to start my loop. Okay, so it's a while loop, do while. So what this means is when a certain condition is true, it'll keep doing something. And then at the end of the loop, it's going to say loop. Okay, so between here, do while, and the word loop, this is where we put in the code that we want to do over and over again. Okay, but what is the condition? While these cells, as we look down the list, there is stuff in the cell. Okay, do while is empty. Okay, we're checking whether a cell is empty. So what cell are we looking at? We're looking at cells, and the row that we're looking at is going to be the variable I. Initially, I is equal to 1. So I'm just gonna type that here. Initially, I is equal to 1. So in the first column, in the first row, which is I, in the first column, actually I is going to start with 2, isn't it? I is going to start with 2 because we're starting at the second row. Second row, Sam, Emma. Second, third, fourth, it's going to keep going down. So cells I, 1. So the first column starting with the second row, we're checking to see whether it's empty. So dot value. So the value of that cell, we're checking to see whether it's empty or not. So this will tell us, this is the command that's going to tell us whether that cell is empty or not. If it is empty, it's going to give us true. If it's not empty, it's going to give us false. So basically, this is a function that's returning a value. Rather than this make dir, make directory statement that just runs a command, this is going to give us something back. It's going to give us true or false. So if it is false, that means it's not empty, because we're asking, is it empty? And it's telling us no. If it's not empty, then what do we want it to do? We want it to create a folder with that name. Okay, we want it to create a folder with that name. Let's indent the code to make it look a bit better. Change the number 2 to I because it's going to keep making the name with the value in that row. And then it's going to add 1 to the number I. I equals I plus 1. Okay. So what this means is it's going to keep going through from the top all the way down until it hits a blank cell, then it's going to stop. Before it hits a blank cell, it's going to keep creating these folders. So let's save that. Save it. Okay, and let's get rid of these folders that are already there. Okay, and let's click create folder and see what happens. Did I click it? No. Click. Okay, all of these folders are created. All right, and let's give these. Let's just give it a few more borders. Okay, so let's say we want even more folders. Let's say we got Rachel, Johnny, Alan, Sarah, Ming. Okay, just throw in some random names in there. Get rid of this. Okay, click create folder and see what happens. Okay, all the way down. All right, it's even giving them an alphabetical order. All right, all created. All right, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.